So one of the things that Liverpool, maybe can do that teams like Arsenal can't is we seem to be able to, call upon our bench to make an impact. And, we've had injuries too, but it seems like the people like Darwin Nunez, who scored twice and scored the winner, they're not starting regularly, but they're still contributing. And, speaking of Nunez, obviously he hasn't had the easiest of seasons. His goals on the weekend was, that's the sixth. He scored now 6 goals for Liverpool this season. And no one doubts his work rate. No one doubts that he's, worked hard, but it's fair to say he's had an underwhelming, campaign so far. And there's obviously been those links to Saudi Arabia, but then, he has this ability to like draw you back in, even after all the criticism, you're like, this player is so talented. Like there is so much to like about how he plays the game. Do you think there's maybe a chance he can salvage his career at Liverpool, even though it's just been one game? Do you think maybe potentially, with Jota always picking up injuries, do you think maybe this could be his maybe last chance?
Personally, I can't see it. I have to say, he probably hasn't dragged me back in just yet. I just think there are too many kind of flaws in his game and weaknesses that we've seen. It's going to be 3 seasons at Liverpool by the end of this campaign, and a few of those flaws just remain, don't they? They haven't really been ironed out. His composure in finishing situations is, he can be good in build-up from time to time, but it's extremely inconsistent, like most other aspects of his game. And the thing is, he's clearly got a lot of quality, and he shows it in a lot of moments. But we know already that, most professional footballers who play at that high of a level have got incredible quality. But the thing that separates the top players from the rest of the players is the consistency and the ability to show that on a regular basis. And he's just never been able to kind of put that together for Liverpool, unfortunately. So my expectation kind of remains that he is going to kind of be on the chopping block at the end of the season, and he will move on. That Saudi interest is interesting in terms of, does he want to make that move at this point in his career? Would he rather kind of stay in Europe? We'll have to see. But I'm sure there will be interest in him because he can score goals, just not consistently enough that at the level that Liverpool require. But, that all said, as much as he's kind of expecting to leave at the end of the season, and we're probably going to see the last few months of Darwin Nunez, his job in the remaining games is to be a menace, is to help in some way, is to make sure if he does leave this summer, it's with as many winners' medals as he can possibly collect. And so, the way to do that is to, make the most of his starts in the Cups. He sets a goal up against Accrington Stanley. Can he get a couple of goals against Plymouth? Can he play any role in the League Cup? Can he, give some of the players a rest in maybe a couple of Champions League dead rubbers that are coming up, or less important games? And can he come on in the Premier League and get a late winner like that? Can he do that? Can he get goals when you need him to? That's all he has to do, really, is be useful and be handy between now and the end of the season. He's never going to be someone who justifies his price tag or the established number 9 for Liverpool. We can all kind of accept that. We've seen enough evidence now. But he can definitely be useful, and that will help him to leave Liverpool with his head held high. And also, as I say, most importantly for him, I guess, is with a few winners' medals and knowing that he contributed those big moments as well.
He kind of reminds me, how he's not been starting. He reminds me a little bit of how Daniel Sturridge and Divock Origi, when we won the Champions League and Premier Leagues, well, not Sturridge in that case, but it reminds me of how, they would occasionally come in for one of the front 3 and then they contribute off the bench. But yeah, absolutely, Darwin Nunez can still play a role in, winning the Premier League and maybe winning the Champions League.
He could also kind of have some similarity as well if he were to leave at the end of this season to maybe a Naby Keita, who, he absolutely didn't live up to expectations at Liverpool. His performance level was sometimes high, but mostly, again, he had that problem of inconsistency, and also the injury problems that he had as well was another real kind of drawback for him. But again, I just think, Naby Keita left with a lot of winners' medals and a lot of appearances for Liverpool in the end, and he contributed to those, coming in for games where you just needed to give someone a rest. And he wasn't outstanding, but he was never a detriment to the team. And so if Nunez can do that, and he can pop up with the odd goal and just sometimes, be a 6 out of 10 in a win where it gives someone who's important a rest, that is absolutely massive to have someone who does that. So, that's kind of my hope for him, really, until between now and the end of the season.